Welcome back, campers. It's the Wretched Recess Summer Camp Transvestigation series. We can't talk about summer camp and transvestigations without talking about the cult classic horror movie Sleepaway Camp, one of my favorites. The best news is that Sleepaway Camp is on YouTube for free right now, so I will link that. But there's a lot to unpack here, so let's get started. Super quick synopsis. If you've never seen this, there's also a Wikipedia page where you can read this whole thing. Sleepaway Camp is a 1983 American slasher. It was filmed in upstate New York in 1982. So this movie starts off with this man, John Baker, and he has a boyfriend. And for the early 80s, I don't know how common that was to have a gay couple as the main couple, but that was the case in this movie, so that made it probably unique at the time. But this man here has two children, Peter and Angela, and it starts off with a very horrible accident in the water, and that's very important for the rest of the movie. So this is the actual Angela at the beginning of the movie, and this is the actual Peter. There's a lot that happens in this movie, so I'm saying this is like the real original Angela, and this is Peter. So they see people, having fun, water skiing, different things, and they want to try and, do some water activities also. Okay, so then these teenagers come along, and their friend is back there water skiing, okay? And this guy is driving the boat, and this girl is begging him to let her try driving the boat. I won't go through the whole movie, but I just want you to understand the disaster that happens at the beginning. So she's begging him to drive the boat, and he lets her. And this girl knows what's coming. She wants to stop, and they won't stop. She's begging them to stop. So the teenagers are, just fooling around. The girl doesn't know how to drive the boat. And here's John and the kids, Angela and Peter. And they actually fall off of their boat. They were all standing. They fall off of their boat, and now they're all in the water. All right, so John and the kids are in the water. This girl, they switch places. She's about to drive. And I'm sure you know where this is going, right? Here's his boyfriend going, hey, what's going on? He knows something's coming as well. Let's go. Time to get going, he's saying. And maybe a little foreshadowing, he just said, okay, fellas, it's time to get going. He called them both fellas. All right, guys, so there will be spoilers in this. I don't know how to do it any other way. I have to talk about this movie. It's a transvestigation. So there are spoilers. If you want to watch the movie, I'm going to link it. Then you can watch the video. But interesting, he calls them fellas. He's like, okay, fellas, to these two kids. It's a boy and a girl. It's time to go, and probably some foreshadowing there for what's about to come. And they just mentioned Aunt Martha and Ricky, and they are both very important characters in this movie also. All right, so the water skier and the boat are heading right in their direction. And these two are just talking and whatever. They're not paying attention, and she's screaming at them, telling them to pay attention. They're still in the water. And he sees the boat coming and knows that it's way too close. This genius finally figures out what's going on. And they crash into them, into John and the kids. Here's the boyfriend, Lenny, and he sees this all happen. He sees John and the kids get struck by the boat. So that's John, the father. He dies. He got killed here. And they don't show it, but Angela dies, okay? The real Angela dies. The only survivor of that accident was the little boy, Peter, okay? We're going to come back to the movie so I can show you more parts, but let's talk a little bit about the cast. All right, well, I already told you the real Angela died in that boat accident, so that's a major spoiler right here, because here's the star of our movie. This is Angela. I'm doing like air quotes with my fingers, okay? This is Angela. She lives with her aunt, Martha, I'm going to show in a second, who is very, very bizarre, and her cousin, Ricky. And this whole movie is about Angela and Ricky going to summer camp together. This person is, Angela is played by Felissa Rose. And I guess this is Jonathan Tiersten plays Ricky. Judy is played by somebody named Karen Fields. We'll get to her. Okay, so here's Angela, and here's the cousin Ricky. Okay, so like cute kid. We're going to transvestigate Angela. One moment. All right, guys, so noticeably, those ears are way lower than the eyes, and Angela's jaw is just like a dead giveaway this entire time. This is a pretty easy transvestigation because this whole movie is about Angela is actually, well, maybe I'll wait and say that part. Let's focus on the transvestigation. So, Angela has a huge jaw. Let's look at the rest of her body. Her jaw is very, very noticeable. Stands out in this movie a lot. Angela is incredibly boyish in appearance. She has very, very long arms. And if you look at the profile there, I mean, if you get rid of that long hair, I mean, it just looks like a boy, right? Like big masculine jaw coming in. And these kids are pretty young, but you can already see it. Aunt Martha is the scariest tranny in town. I need to look up the cast real quick. Part of me wonders if that's the dad or the boyfriend just in drag, right? I mean, this is clearly not a woman. And this is the aunt that Angela goes to live with and her cousin. So yeah, Aunt Martha is a very interesting character. Aunt Martha is played by this actress. You're going to love this. Desiree Gold. Look at the arm. Those are the most masculine arms I've ever seen. And look at the face. Look at that, like, just masculine face and everything. But the arm gets me. Look. And Aunt Martha just speaks like a total drag queen. I mean, that's just a man with deep set eyes and, it's just a man, sloping back forehead. Look, here's another one. Oh my gosh, it's such a bizarre movie. It's really good, but this is just crazy. Is anybody fooled by this? And this is a photo from like realtor.com. Maybe this person is a realtor today. Oof. It's a man in makeup, right? Oh dear. We could have done this whole video just on Aunt Martha because, like, this person will mess you up when you watch this movie. It's absolutely nuts. Oh my gosh, Aunt Martha. Our camp bully, Judy, looks exactly like Cinder from my last summer camp movie, Little Darlings. I thought this was the same exact actress, which is why I kept saying in that video, we'll see this person again. I swear it's the same person, just with credited with a different name. The other one was, I believe, Erica Erickson, and this person is somebody Fields. Let me look it up. This is Karen Fields, who looks exactly like Cinder from Little Darlings, in my opinion. Notice the red and white stripes for duality. That is definitely a thing, and this is, in my opinion, definitely a boy as well. The jaws on this cast are like, it's bigger than normal. I don't know, it's very strange. Here's Cinder from Little Darlings, but this is 3 years earlier. To me, Judy in Sleepaway Camp just looks like, a little bit older version of this person right here. Both definitely boys, in my humble opinion. Okay, so now it's 8 years later from that boating accident from the beginning, and we're going to see Aunt Martha Angela, even though Angela died in the boating accident, and Ricky. I wish I could play scenes from the movie so you could see how bizarre it is, but like I said, it's on YouTube for free, so definitely go watch it. Let's transvestigate Aunt Martha. We have a sloping back forehead. We have a huge masculine jaw. We have ears lower than the eyes, a huge skull. I mean, look, that's just a man's face. And then we get to the body, and it's a straight, flat back. This person is, like, you know, tall and thin. Not really seeing much there as far as the digit ratio, but the overall thing is incredibly masculine. Shoulders wider than the hips. Is anybody terrified by Aunt Martha? It's such a scary character. I'm sorry. So Aunt Martha is sending these two to summer camp. Okay, and you know, let's look at Angela's profile there. This looks like a teenage boy to me. The arm looks pretty masculine, and the shoulders, and the jaw even. But we're going to focus our attention on these other two. But you have to wonder, if everybody else in a cast is trans, like, would they have a normal person? But sometimes I do think regular boys are mixed in, but I don't believe regular girls are mixed in. That's just what I gather from everything I've seen, but feel free to leave a comment below with your opinion on that. Here's a better picture of the hands, and I guess that digit ratio, but I never use that as a smoking gun. People can have different length fingers, and it's, you know, doesn't mean anything 100%. So, yeah, they're on their way to camp. I have to admit, he does kind of have a pretty boy appearance with, like, feminine eyes and that little nose and profile. Like, out of the two, all right, you guys are probably already thinking, like, of course it's probably a girl, but yeah, Ricky's kind of pretty, huh? Oh dear. And then we have Angela. Look at that jaw. Goodness. Just a side note, Angela kind of reminds me of 11 in Stranger Things, but if you compare photos and, you know, just like the overall vibe, how they're like, they both kind of don't talk a lot at first, and they're like shy and creepy. It's just like a very similar vibe. Probably because both characters are very traumatized, and you'll see why with Angela here. And we have pedo stuff in this movie. Are you ready? When all of the kids get off the bus for camp, I cannot even make this up, and I have the closed captions pulled up so you can read it yourself. Oh, sorry, I have 3 cats, so we're going to see cat hair on the screen sometimes. Okay, ready? This guy right here, looking at all the kids getting off the bus, says, I didn't know you could move the closed captions around. That's pretty cool. Anyways, he says, look at all that young, fresh chicken. Where I come from, we call them baldies. Talking about the kids getting off the bus. One of you guys in the comments mentioned that chicken, like, that means, you know, that's like a pedo word, you know, for the kids. It's totally true. Look at all that young, fresh chicken. Where I come from, we call them baldies. And, like, everybody's totally fine with that. They're laughing. I mean, that's disgusting. And then he says, makes your mouth water, don't it? I'm just going to leave that there for a second. And at least this guy has some sense. He says, Artie, they're too young to even understand what's on your mind. Thank you, somebody said it. And of course, Pedo Bear here says, Ben, good buddy, there ain't any such thing as being too young. Who thought this was a good idea to put in the movie? I'm just wondering. Like, that's so nasty. You're just too old. Ha 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 ha. Funny. Here he is watching all the kids running from the bus to their cabins. Is it a tranny? I don't know. I don't feel like spending any more time on this guy, but he does kind of have feminine eyes and an oval face, right? And a little nose and a vertical forehead, but let's move on. This is Meg. Meg is very masculine. She, he, she, it, they, them, is one of the camp counselors in the girls' cabin. And he's very mean to Angela. This is Angela's counselor. I feel like the budget for this movie was like $5. Look at this boy in a wig. It's like a really bad wig over here. Angela doesn't talk to anybody. She's very, very quiet. Remember, this kid has been through a lot of trauma with seeing her dad die, the boating accident, and everything. Here's Judy, who is definitely Cinder from Little Darlings. And she's super nasty, just a total bully like Cinder was. The camp bully. She's very, very rude to Angela, constantly making mean remarks to her. Why the long face there, Judy? Okay, so the pedo that we saw before, he actually tries to molest Angela, but her cousin Ricky steps in. I won't go through the whole movie, guys. Like, you need to watch it, but I'm going to show you the important parts. Judy here wears a lot of stripes, and she's grows increasingly like jealous of Angela because the boy, like, Angela likes a boy and he likes her back. But yeah, lots of stripes for duality. She had red and white. Now we have black and white. All right, and cops get involved because this is a slasher and people start dying. And people think it's Ricky, who is Angela's cousin, killing the people that are mean to her and like he's defending her. But we have a different killer on our hands. I want you guys to look at the body. Look at Angela's shoulders. You know, if I didn't show you, like, forget the long hair. Just look at the shoulders and the body. And that jaw is like 5 miles long. I'm not trying to insult. We're just saying, you know, this is a transvestigation. So check it out. Here's Meg being a total B to Angela. Oh, that's a oof. Look at the jaw there. Low ears, low ears, deep set eyes, big old masculine jaw. I mean, that's like her man jaw coming in. And Meg, flat back, long arms, black and red, symbolic colors. Basically, Satan's colors. These stripes have to be an inside joke at this point. Here she is, he, she, in another striped top, green and white. And look at... take a look at Judy's jaw. If we thought Angela's was bad, they just got a bunch of boys for this movie with big old jaws. And there's something you guys need to be aware of. Even background characters, I'm going to look at my hair. I have it in a messy bun. You can see me. Even background characters, I think I'll do a whole video on that. They do that to mess with your subconscious. That's a boy. Look at the masculine face, neck, and jaw on this one. So it's not just our main characters. And, you know, there's Ricky looking kind of pretty with feminine features there compared to, you know, this one. But this right here, shoulders wider than the hips, long arms, big, strong jaw, thick neck. It's even the background characters aren't even girls. Here we have a full body shot of Angela. Ignore the hair. Pretend that hair wasn't there. What do you see? We see a young man's face. We see big, broad shoulders. We see long arms. The shoulders are much wider than the hips. You know, just a boy's body coming towards us. Here we have Judy again in more red and white stripes. Totally different scene with, this is the guy that Angela likes. Look at how high his ears are, higher than the eyes, and a curved spine. But yeah, that's Judy kissing on her, like, camp boyfriend, Angela's boyfriend. And there's this scene where Meg, the mean counselor, and Judy throw Angela in the water. And remember, Angela is completely traumatized from water from the accident from when they were little. All right, now here's an important scene because this is a slasher, guys, an 80s slasher, and it's a really good one. People start dying. Judy, the mean girl, the camp bully, sees this person at the door, and it looks an awful lot like Ricky, and she's like, what are you doing here? And I want you to look at the body, right? It's basically Angela's body, right? With the broad shoulders and the long arms and the no hips. So they see this figure. Judy sees this figure at the door. Check out that. I've noticed when you pause movies, I've mentioned this before, you really get a good look at, you know, the different features, and it's just more easier to tell about their genders when you like kind of pause the screen at different times. But anyways, there's this scene where Judy, you know, sees that person at the door, and she's in the middle of using a curling iron, and there's one of the most unique horror movie deaths here. A very interesting killing involving this curling iron, the person who kills her, and they do something very interesting with that curling iron. I'll leave it at that. Okay, guys, I think this video is getting long enough, but major spoiler. I'm going to tell you the ending, okay? The two kids at the beginning of the accident, and I kind of, you know, gave you a big spoiler at the beginning, the real Angela died. They made Peter, the one that lived, dress the Aunt Martha, turned him into a daughter that she always wanted. Since he was coming to live with her, she already had Ricky. So she turns him into a girl, which is basically child abuse, which is basically the kind of stuff that they're pushing today. People doing that to their kids. It is not right. And here's the scene at the end of the movie where they're explaining it. Look, doesn't he look abused? This is Peter, the one that survived the accident with bandages on his head, right? She's saying, oh, I've always wanted a daughter, and you're going to be the daughter I never had. So, Peter, I'm going to call you Angela. So this whole movie is about, like, trans, but the joke on the audience is all of these people are trans, right? But yeah, this whole movie, that's what it's about. See, she says, I've always dreamed of a little girl just like you, and it's literally like Peter standing there as a boy. We already have a boy. Look at it. He's like so sad. His dad died, his sister died, and now he's being forced to be a girl. This probably has a lot to do with like MK Ultra and like what those kids actually go through. They're very traumatized. Like that's what this is looking like. And the aunt says a little girl would be so much nicer. Don't you think so, Angela? And it's literally Peter. It's so messed up. And you know, this is coming from a trans aunt also. Okay, so at the end of Sleepaway Camp, Angela totally loses it. I won't tell you who the killer is, but you've probably figured it out. And it's revealed at the very end of the movie that Angela is not Angela, that Angela is actually Peter, and they full-on show her male anatomy at the end of the movie. And before I was like awake to all of this stuff, and I remember watching this movie like 20 years ago or something, you know, that's like the big shock ending. But the actual shock to people who aren't awake is like this entire cast is probably trans. You know, Martha definitely is, and as we saw, those background characters. So like it's most likely all of them, not just Angela. So it's probably a big inside joke. But if you haven't already, check out the movie Sleepaway Camp. It's pretty entertaining, really good early 80s slasher. And the whole thing is about, you know, trans people anyways. You know, it's revealed at the end. But yeah, it's pretty obvious about the rest of the cast too, now that we know what we're looking for. So I want to thank you guys for watching this video. I hope you're enjoying this little summer camp transvestigation series. And yeah, watch this movie. It's a fun summer movie, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.